I want to introduce to you someone that I call my mom. Her name is Mrs. Folake Sanu. And I worked with her when I was in Wema Bank, where I actually retired. One thing about her is that she's passionate about women. If someone like me that is passionate about a male child now is talking to someone that is passionate about female or women, and she's got that listening and she said, oh, you're right, Onyade, let's do this together. Here we are. And Mom, you're a great mother. You have always been one, and you have never disappointed me, and you have never disappointed us. Thank you, Mommy.
So thanks, Onyade.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I could say, this mom has to be in quotes.
Ma, please, I want you to speak to how society's perception of masculinity contribute to the challenges that boys face, even until marriage and in their old age.
Oh, thank you, Onyade. That's a very good one. And you find that it's like the boys have to live a stereotyped life. And there are some myths or some beliefs behind how a boy should behave. So a boy is supposed to be strong. So right from childhood, he's not supposed to cry that much.
Without emotion.
So emotions should be suppressed.
Submerged and suppressed.
Boys, falling in love, gravitate towards their mothers. So the mothers show them a lot of affection. So you find them being very affectionate with their mom. But at the same time, they are not looking for direction from their mom because they believe that their father is the person that should be directing them. But unfortunately, the father is not there because there's that also assumption that the man should provide for the house. So they grow up in that environment. And because of the fact that emotions is suppressed from when they are young, by the time they are much older, you find that it's very difficult for them to change that perception. It's also difficult for them to change the stereotype, like, I'm not supposed to be part of the activities in the house. So they're just there, and the other ladies are being seconded to do all the housework. There's also no direction. So if you look at a typical lady, which I can easily, so by the time you are 10, your mom is looking at you. Have you started your period? Is anything happening to you? On the boys' side, there's all of these things are happening. It's also growing into puberty. There are a lot of things happening. But I don't think anybody takes their time to take them through anything. And if I can recollect, over the years, if I look at my younger brother, luckily for us, maybe because my mom was a psychiatric nurse, it was easy for her to identify all those things around drugs, things. So every time she kept on saying, no drugs, well, you have to be this. So we were brought up in a home whereby there was not much differentiation between the boys and the girls. We all did the housework. We all did everything. So there was a little of balance. But quite a lot of people didn't do that. So they grow up believing and demanding that I should be given respect. I should just be respected.
As a man.
And then they get into a situation where the wife says, I need some emotions. So you have to balance the two. So they are left to their colleagues, their friends, and social media now.
Which is very dangerous.
Which is dangerous. And you find out that social media, their clique of friends influence their behavior. So you find them not being very stable, unless they have this stable set of friends and they are well grounded. So I think some of the problems we have is that they are not well grounded. The only thing they are grounded on is the fact that they need to make money and they need to provide for the family. And that is just a small portion of how you maintain and grow in life.
That speaks volume to the problems and challenges that we have at hand. But Ma, I still want to ask, how can parents and caregivers play a role in supporting the development of boys and young men?
The caregivers, the teachers, and the third parties is for them to be more intentional in what they do. They should move away from stereotypes. Sometimes you see a child that comes in, is very boisterous, when he comes with a particular type of hairstyle, and you just brand the child as, these ones are just in this particular category. No, that's not the way it is. The guy is just expressing himself. So now that we are in this area whereby it's not a very strict environment, we have to loosen up a little bit and try to understand what is driving these children, what is driving this particular child, why is it different from the others. So the caregivers too have to also change the way they could go about things. There's no stereotype. It's not one size fits all type of education anymore.
I agree with you.
You should find a way of trying to see if about 50% are in this direction, it's fine. Another 20%, then you start addressing their individual issues. Then we have guidance counselors in schools that they are no longer there most of the time. You know, in my days, guidance counselors also direct you and they give you an idea of where you're supposed to be. But most importantly to boys is for them to have role models in the society, role models in the home, role models in the school. Because it's not all about what you say, it's about what we do. So our society also has to change with their values so that the boys can actually relate with something. So relate with the leaders. All they say is everybody making money. I met a very young boy and I asked him, what do you want to be? He said, a politician. And I'm wondering, so I said, what? He said he wants to read politics. I said, so what? He said he wants to be a politician. I said, what type of politician? He said, chairman, local government. And I'm wondering, why do you go to that? Is you are seeing it that there's money to be made.
Yes.
So you're willing to join the Joneses. You're not going to add any value to the society other than being a politician. So those are the things that have to change to change the outcome with boys. So it's a long process, but it's doable.
Yes, ma'am.
And unfortunately or fortunately, you know, we are all religious.
Yes.
But I hope we can actually use this religion to train these boys and let them also be encouraged to really imbibe those values. Things will change, definitely.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thanks for that. But I would like to ask again, how does this masculinity affect men even into their old age?
If you look at it from this point of view, so when they are young, they are being segregated out of the whole activities and treated separately and given that confidence that just be a man. As they grow older, the influence a male child has is based on his colleagues and what he's been exposed to. Now, the other thing is that as they grow older as well, when they get married, yes, they are married and they love their wives. They believe that providing the financial support is what is the most important thing. The emotional support, they have not been brought up to expose. So most of them don't do that. Now, when it comes to having children, children gravitate towards where there is a lot of emotions. So the men tend to provide. Their male child, they are normally not too close to because they're going to tell the male, I don't show any emotions. You have to be a man, be a man. But by the time they're getting older and you're growing older, you tend to realize that you need a return from your investment. That is, now the children grow older and the men show no emotions and the guy is left on his own. So at the end of the day, they are lonely when they are young. They are with their groups, but they are still lonely within the group because you can't really share most of the emotional things. And by the time you get much older, you find out that you are alone most of the time. And that is where the bitterness comes in. And it's very unfair because you believe I've spent so much on these children. I've sent them to the UK or America, you spend so much money. And then the children are there dancing away with their mom. It's because she invested emotions. You invested money. So at the end of the day, there is need for us to bring up our men properly for them to understand that it's a whole family setup and that everybody should contribute financially, emotionally, physically, in fact, everything. They should do it together for them to enjoy this growth and for them to enjoy it into old age. And then they should also be allowed to be vulnerable.
Yes.
So you find a lot of suicidal attempts. People commit suicide. Very rich men commit suicide and they can't discuss their issues with anybody. How do you explain a very rich man committing suicide and nobody knows about it? He has issues. He could have discussed with his friends. He could have discussed with his wife. But it's always this man up.
Man up.
So I think this is a very good initiative, Onyade.
Thank you very much.
And I think it is nice to work with you on it.
Thank you very much.
And it's something that we should push out.
Thank you very much.
These guys need help.
Thank you.